Hi there. So we are going to cover our last section, Pythagorean Theorem, and it's going to be great. Look at those goats. Aren't they awesome? They are radical. So what is Pythagorean Theorem, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is the way to find out a side of a right triangle, so a side length. So if you were looking at this triangle and you know the length of this side and this side, but you don't know the length of that side, we'll be able to figure it out. So we use the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or we could say it as length squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared, where a leg is two of the lines of the triangle that make up the right angle. So this is important. If it doesn't have this symbol here, we can't use this theorem. We can't use this rule. It only works with right triangles. And A is our short leg. B is our longer leg. C is our hypotenuse, which is our longest leg. It is important to identify C because it's the only one that matters in which order you put it. Here's how you identify C. You draw an arrow out of your right angle, and that right there is your hypotenuse. Okay? You don't need to write out the whole word. Just put an H there. Okay? You have to know where your hypotenuse is because it's where your C is. If you don't know that, you can't do this. Or you won't get the right answer. You could do it. You just won't. Right? So what does this mean? Okay. Whoops. I added a page. Oh. There we go. We want to determine if 5, 12, and 13 make a right triangle. So if they make a right triangle, or if they make the Pythagorean theorem true, when we put it in, it is a right triangle. So we've got our Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Super important that you write that down because you have to memorize this. It is something you're going to use next year in geometry. A lot. So, what is my C? Let's see, 5, 12, 13. 13 is the biggest, so that goes there. And it doesn't matter where the 5 and the 12 go. If you want to do 12 squared plus 5 squared, that's fine. If you want to do 5 squared plus 12 squared, that's fine. What matters is this side, and you follow down, and you figure out that answer. And this is this side, and you follow down, and you figure out that answer. This equal sign stays the same, and that line stays there, and nothing moves onto the other side. We do all of our work going down. Super, super important. Okay? Use your calculator. Figure out this answer. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to do the work so that you don't have to watch. Okay. You should have had 144 plus 25. That equals 169. You should have had 13 squared is 169. And 169 equals 169. So the answer to this question is, yes, these three numbers will make a right triangle. So if the length of my sides is 5 inches, 12 inches, and 13 inches, respectively, it will be a right triangle. This is what's called a Pythagorean triple. And that group of numbers makes the Pythagorean theorem true or satisfies the equation. Okay? So that's a Pythagorean triple. I'd like you to determine if this is a Pythagorean triple. What number is your C? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. What number is your C? It's definitely 18. That's the biggest number. Doesn't matter where you put your 6 and your 12 over here. I'm just going to go in order this time. Do the math. Come back. Check your answer with my answer. If your answer's wrong, change it. Okay? See you in a minute. All right, you should have got 180 on the left side and 324 on the right side. Are those equal to each other? They are not. So, not equal. So the answer to this is no. Here's why. But my answer is no. I asked if you could determine if this was a right triangle or not. It's not. Okay? Next example. Now you've got a picture of a triangle. It says, verify this is a right triangle. Even though this symbol is here, we don't know that for sure. So what I want you to do is plug this in to Pythagorean Theorem, solve both sides, and tell me if this is or is not a right triangle. Make sure this is done in your notes when you come to class. Okay, originally, when I started talking about this, I said you would be able to find a missing side. Look here, we have a missing side. We don't know what B is. We want to know what the length is, considering the fact that this is a right triangle. This symbol says it's a right triangle, so what is this length? So the way that we do that is we take our Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and we plug things in the right spots. What's my c? Hoping you said 15. Hoping you drew the arrow out of the right angle. The right angle points to 15, which is my hypotenuse. So my 15 goes here. I'm going to leave that b. So I'm going to make 7 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. Okay? All right. So then you just do the math. 49 plus b squared equals 225. Sorry. Solve your equation. Get b squared by itself. This is just like the last lesson where we were solving equations or solving radicals. Subtract 49 from both sides, just like everything we've done since chapter 2. B squared is equal to what? 176. Square root both sides. B equals approximately 13.3. There's a little few numbers there, but so we use the approximate equal sign instead of an equal sign because it's not exact. Okay? This is how we would do that. I would like you to try number 5. Oh, where did 5 go? There it is. Whew. I knew there was 5. I would like you to try number 5, and then we'll do 6 kind of together. So do this one for your notes. I want to see your a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Fill it in. Get me an answer. Okay? Pause the video. Do that. And then come back and look at number 6. Okay. Before you start number 6, take off this 0.2. That's not supposed to be there. It's just supposed to be a 15. Okay? I don't know how it got there. That was an error on me. So, what don't you know? What is x equal to? You have x over here. You put your squared. X is just the c. Okay? So I've got 8 squared plus 15 squared. Now, here is where it's extremely important that you keep this line here and everything gets worked down. Everything gets worked down because you are going to want to figure this out and write it over here. We're not writing it over here. We're leaving our x squared over here so that we can figure out what x is equal to. Okay? So, 8 squared, 64, 15 squared, large number, 225 equals x squared. Okay? 289 equals x squared. Square root both sides. X is equal to 17. Good? Good. Important, important, important. This follows all the way down, and this work goes all the way down. Okay, we do our work going down. Make sure you come with questions. We'll talk about those. God bless.